Happy almost Mother's Day,
Thanks.
Mommy. Okay, what was your birth experience like?
So, because I had a stillbirth before you, I chose to have a doula work with me toward the end of my pregnancy and to assist with my pregnancy because I was very anxious. And that proved to be a wonderful gift and something that I would recommend to anyone going through pregnancy, just to have some moral support for all the unknowns. That really reduced the stress a lot for me. But when I got to the hospital, I talked to the doula, and the doctor wanted to break my water. I didn't want him to. I wanted it to be natural. She said, don't struggle with the doctor. So he broke my water, and I said, okay, I need to push. She said, okay, let me go get the doctor. So she went out, and while she was out, I gave one push. You came flying out, landed on the table, and he came running in with 1/2 glove on, saying, but I'm not ready. And I said, sorry, she's here.
I was ready.
You were ready, and you announced yourself beautifully.
And didn't you struggle to find a doctor who would even take you?
So, not that would take me, but because I had your sister, my first pregnancy 7 weeks early, and then I had the stillbirth at 8 months, my specialist, I got to my last appointment with the specialist, and he said, you're set, you're good enough, you don't need to come here anymore. But my OBGYN was terrified about my high-risk status and didn't want to deliver me. So the day of my final specialist appointment, I got into the car and we were heading over there. I got contractions. I walked in and announced, I think I'm in labor. And they're like, no, it's too early, you're not in labor. And they checked, and sure enough, I was. So I think my body gave me the chance to say, deliver me, so that I didn't have to worry about having a doctor not to know where to go for a delivery for you.
Right. And so do you feel like you struggled with like not being understood, or feeling like you had to advocate for yourself more and the doctors weren't listening to you a lot?
You know, that's a very good question. And yes, it certainly presented me with a need to advocate in a way I didn't know how. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any answers, and yet I had two doctors who had very different opinions on my status. So it left me in a more stressful place than probably was good for me.
Right. And then what fears or preconceived notions did you have going into that pregnancy, or pregnancy in general?
Well, I mean, I had 2 deliveries already, so that part was not nerve-wracking, but again, you were coming early. I wasn't quite at 9 months. You were almost 4 weeks early, and so I had to worry about, was this going to be healthy? Was this going to work out nicely? Even with the assurance of the doula, there was a lot of uncertainty and unknowns, and I didn't have the faith or certainty that the doctor was looking out for me, because they had so much dismissed everything that I had said to them.
Right. What do you remember from your first year of postpartum?
The first year was hard, as I expected, as for most every mom. I was struggling with the needs of trying to nurse an infant, care for a toddler, work pretty much full time, and I didn't have the support or the partnership of a spouse. I wanted to nurse, he wanted to bottle feed, his timing was his timing, and I wanted to nurse according to your timing. So there was a lot of stress in all of that.
And what do you want for the future of maternal health?
That is such a good question. And because of the work I do and what I know, we are facing, because of all the abortion limits in many states, not sufficient OBGYNs to care for healthy pregnancies, let alone deal with anyone who wants an abortion. And so we are facing many states where there aren't going to be enough physicians to care for women, people who are dealing with pregnancy, no matter what stage they're at. And that to me is a real concern and something we need to be facing.
Agreed. Is there anything else you want to add or share about motherhood or pregnancy or anything else?
I can just say being a mother has been the joy of my life.
Nah.
And I feel very lucky to have a daughter like you. you.
And I feel lucky to have a mom like you.
Happy Mother's Day to me.